Well, we're back with another Boruto episode review, and I guess the best way to describe what we've been getting with the Boruto episodes for the past couple of weeks with Kawaki and the Leaf Village is, I guess, what you can call slice of life. And typically with shonen action anime, you don't really like slice of life episodes because they don't really contribute to anything, and the main thing that you're wanting to see in a shonen action anime is, well, action, because it's in the name, it's in the genre of the show that we're watching. This isn't, Boruto, Naruto, Next Generations. This is a show that's really centered around having a lot of action. And slice of life episodes can be fine when done properly with certain characters that need that development interaction with other characters, but most of the time they don't really ever do it right, and they give it to characters that aren't very interesting or characters who don't really need that type of development in this specific time. But now that we have Kawaki, who is experiencing things that he's never had before, a lot of things that he hasn't had before, I think it's actually very interesting in the way they've been able to pull off these slice of life episodes with Kawaki is actually very interesting, and I've actually been really enjoying it. Seeing him go out and eat snacks with the Lord Hokage Naruto, right? Him going out and buying a vase with flowers is actually somehow interesting. Seeing him interact with other people and seeing him realize that there are things that aren't necessarily wrong, but the way that he's been taught by Jigen has just basically warped his perception of how things normally are. Like in this week's episode, we see Boruto and Naruto actually doing some training. They're sparring. And the entire time Kawaki is watching it, and he's like, oh, so this is training. And he's really confused by it because his perception of training was essentially the abusement of, power that Jigen had over Kawaki. And so later on in the episode, he actually ends up going to talk to Naruto, and he realizes that, yeah, Naruto doesn't really do the same type of training that Jigen had done, which is basically just, abusement against Kawaki when he was younger, which we see flashbacks of. And he realizes that they were also using the same jutsu. Boruto and Naruto were actually using the same Shadow Clone jutsu, and that's when he starts realizing that maybe he can start using ninjutsu because all living things have chakra, and he says in the episode that he doesn't have it, but then Naruto explains the story that everyone's all connected by chakra. Even those who aren't shinobi, they're all connected in one specific way. And I really like that, and I really like that he actually gets to learn this lesson, especially from someone who had to grow up and realize this long ago. And I also really liked in the episode as well, and in this same scene, that Kawaki seemed to have really wanted to learn the Shadow Clone Jutsu because he wanted to take out his frustrations and against himself or against other people by creating a clone version of himself. And Naruto explains, no, that's not gonna work. And Kawaki's like, why? You don't know if you'll try it? And Naruto replies back saying, it's because I have done it before a long time ago. And I really like these moments of character interactions between Naruto and Kawaki, because Kawaki's finally getting like a mentor slash father figure that he never really had before, because his biological father was a drunkard, abusive bastard who didn't really do anything for him. And of course, Jigen pretty much just used him for his ideals and his plans for what he thinks is the greater good and what actually should be happening, and yada yada yada. Other than that, we get a little bit more with Sarada in the episode. Very minor, but enough to actually want to be invested into what she's doing. And essentially what she wants to do is, by realizing that Boruto is like ridiculously strong whenever he's using karma, because he actually ends up using karma and displaying that his strength is substantially increased by just activating it, which so far he can't activate it manually, but it reacts to Kawaki's karma seal. So later on at the end of the episode, she actually mentions to Sasuke that she wants to learn how to use the Chidori, which I honestly think is about time that she ends up learning it, because it only makes sense that she would do so. My only question now is, of the new Team 7 with Mitsuki, Sarada, and Boruto, with Boruto learning how to use the Karma Seal, and then Sarada learning how to enhance her Sharingan and learning the Chidori, why doesn't Mitsuki try to learn how to enhance and learn how to use his Sage Mode? He can ask like Kabuto, he can ask like even Naruto on like how to get like a natural energy and all this stuff. Just, I feel like at this point he should now be learning how to use his Sage Mode a lot easier now, instead of just using it for a certain amount of time and then being out of commission because he overused it. I feel like at this point now he should try to learn how to use this more efficiently and become more powerful because of it. I think it would be very interesting to see that, and their team dynamic would be much, much cooler. But other than that, we basically just get Kashin Koji going into the Leaf Village. He's looking for Kawaki. He finds Kawaki at the end of the episode. And next week's episode in the preview show that Delta's going to be going into the Leaf Village and looking for Kawaki herself. So there's going to be conflict there. There's going to be a lot of action. Also, speaking of action, in this week's episode, we actually had, obviously, sparring and training between Boruto and Naruto, and I think it looked really good. And I think Boruto showed off his Karma Seal abilities, even though they're very limited, and of course it's just a power boost. I think it looked really cool, and I think the potential of what he has later on in store for us is going to be very interesting. So, yeah, there's not really much else to say. I think it's basically just as good as the previous episodes were, which, is actually really good. I don't know how they've been able to pull off these slice of life episodes with Kawaki, but they have, and I think that's great. So, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and wrap things up. If you liked the video, be sure to leave a like. If you want more, be sure to subscribe. I'll see you guys next one. Have a fantastic day. I'm out. Peace.